Well, the insanity continues with the global economy and the energy crisis. I want to bring up the latest here. And don't you just love this freaking Orwellian language? Now the EU will propose a mandatory target for reducing electricity use at peak hours in order to flatten the curve. Gee, where have we heard that before, guys? You couldn't make this up if you wanted to.
And this is what is expensive, because in these peak demands, the expensive gas comes into the market. So what we have to do is flatten the curve and avoid the peak demands. We will propose a mandatory target for reducing electricity use at peak hours.
Unreal.
And we will work very closely with the member states to achieve this. And this.
Yeah, so the EU is going to be using austerity measures. You know, you don't get a choice. Like, no one voted on this. But they're going to talk about defending our democracy all the time. The same people are the ones that are taxing everything, confiscating your wealth, and now imposing targets for turning off your electricity during peak hours. That's insane. It's just mental illness. While they also send billions of your hard-earned dollars to Ukraine, because Slava Ukrainia, right? Cannot make this up if you wanted to. Quote, when you shut down production capability of nuclear, coal, and gas and try to transition immediately to alternative source energy, it doesn't work, says Judd Gregg. Quote, you're going to see a severe recession in Europe, and the people most harmed are low-income individuals. Yes, of course. And isn't that, you know, by design?
Senator Gregg, let's start with you first on this. The situation we find ourselves in, or maybe more importantly, that Europe finds itself in right now, maybe not hugely surprising, but here we are. What do we do?
Well, it's
maybe not hugely surprising. Oh, you think? Like, who could have guessed that this would happen? Almost like it's being done by design.
Inflicted wound to a large extent.
Yes.
Obviously, the Russian situation has made it much more acute. But when you basically shut down your production capability in nuclear, coal, and gas, and try to transition immediately to alternative source energies, it doesn't work. It simply doesn't work.
I mean, who could have guessed that that would be the case, you know? I mean, it is stunning, isn't it, when you think about it? I honestly don't know what to say at this point, but none of this is surprising, and it shouldn't be. This is a large thread. I'll include the links to this stuff in the video description so y'all can read this for yourself, but this is a pretty good thread. Michael Schellenberger says, we are headed for recession and Europe may be headed for depression. Western civilization will be rocked to its very core. Most of the politicians in power today won't be in power 3 years from now. People will learn the physics of energy the hard way. Now, that is in one case very true. Yes, like we're going into a depression, and you know, people like Michael Burry are saying this could be the worst global financial meltdown ever in history. So I think it's going to get really bad, but guess what's going to happen? You know, there's going to be a reaction to this, right? To neoliberalism and the liberal world order. They've caused this, so people are going to swing hard in the other direction, and maybe that's what we need, right? But there's, you know, the concern that this is being done by design so they can have the Build Back Better Great Reset, right? So always remember that. He says, energy is the biggest story in the world. Most of what you read about in the mainstream news media is misinformation. I'm traveling the world to get to the bottom of the crisis. So he has a Substack here, he says, for people to stay informed. But his thread here He says in Europe, politicians are either delusional or nihilistic. The delusional ones think they can cap the price of energy, but that will just shift the costs from ratepayers to taxpayers. The nihilistic ones, like the Greens, seek deindustrialization. Yeah, that is pretty crazy, right? This is, and he's citing a Bloomberg article here. Traders warn crisis will last beyond this winter energy update. Oh, yes, it's going to last for a while. Many others are nihilists who turn nature into a god and have convinced themselves civilization is destroying it. They are in the grip of a pathological dogma, no different from the dogma that grips cult members. They dream of apocalypse. Yes, very true. He says here, in response to Secretary Jennifer Granholm saying, great news, POTUS plan is working and we're just getting started. Is this a joke? Yes, it's a joke. He says if renewables are doomed for basic physical reasons, why do so many educated people believe we will transition to them? This is a good point. I don't understand how people don't get this. He says most politicians are just ignorant. They've been surrounded by professional ideologues who have deceived them for decades. Yes. Okay, apocalypse never. Why environmental alarmism hurts us all. Very important, exactly. Quote, the availability of free energy explains why the Industrial Revolution started in Britain, where coal was readily available and firewood already depleted or difficult to transport, whereas Germany, with its huge forests next to rivers, was much later. He says, we've known for 200 years that the Industrial Revolution was made possible first by coal, then by oil and gas. It simply wasn't possible with wood, water wheels, and windmills. Scholars have now shown using physical measures why this was the case. So your little windmills are not going to work. They never have, and they never will. It's nonsense. He says there is no tech fix. The underlying problem is physical, the energy dilute nature of sunlight and wind and their low power densities. There is simply no way that energy's share of minerals consumption will rise from 10 to 20% to 50 to 70% with or without today's energy shortages. Exactly. China dominates solar and battery production. Minerals equal 60 to 70% of the cost to produce solar panels and lithium batteries. Yes, and China's solar panel labor costs have been very low to free, considering they've been covered as part of its genocide. Yeah, it's called slave labor, right? Oh my God. And that's the thing. Is it that Western politicians are deceived and they don't know better, or are they doing this because they're in the pocket of China? Is that why they keep pushing the renewables? I mean, really, ask yourself that. China's market share of renewables/EV minerals is 2 times OPEC's share of oil. The U.S. is dependent on imports for 100% of 17 renewables/EV critical minerals for 28 others. Imports account for over 50% of domestic demand. That is insane. The proximate cause of the global energy crisis is Europe's overdependence on Russian fuels, yet Western elites are on the verge of repeating that mistake by becoming dependent on China for the extraction and processing of the minerals needed to make solar, wind, and batteries. Yeah, almost as if this is being done on purpose, guys. Come on. Today, 40 CEOs of European metal companies warned of the, quote, existential threat, unquote, to the industry due to the energy shortages and the extra raw materials needed to shift away from fossil fuels. 50% of the EU's aluminum and zinc capacity has already been forced offline due to the crisis. It's unbelievable. And guys, this is all being done on purpose. So I'll include the link. You can read the rest of this yourself. But look at this. This is not environmentally friendly. It's not environmentally sound. That gives off tons of toxins into the soil. There have been studies that have shown it. Aggressive ECB tightening will profoundly impact the recession and much less so inflation. Good luck, hashtag Lagarde. Exactly. The Eurozone narrative is shifting. A few months ago, it was oh, there won't be a recession. Recently, it shifted to, well, there will be a recession, but it'll be shallow. This weekend, we began to make the final shift. We're heading for a deep recession. Euro is going to fall a lot more. And just look at that. Unbelievable. Yeah, and he's right. It absolutely will fall a lot more. Probably the most important chart I'll be posting today, European inflation swaps falling big time. Hashtag recession, depression, disinflation. Unbelievable. Kim.com says the value of wages in the EU is crashing hard, resulting in less consumer spending, reduced production, higher unemployment, more money printing, more debt, higher inflation, recession, depression. Times are getting really tough. EU leaders may soon be facing a modern revolution. Well, when is it going to come? I mean, what has to happen? That's the thing that I keep asking. How bad do things really need to get for people to like wake up? And I don't know what the answer is, because it just seems like it doesn't matter how bad it gets. It continues to get worse, and yet nothing has changed. People still fall for the same nonsense all the time. BBC Politics, Bank of England warns it cannot stop UK falling into recession. This is why I've said, and you can look at this channel, you can look up my backup channel, my second channel called Radix Report. In fact, I'll put a link to that in the video description. Please subscribe over there. This channel is already 2 strikes deep. If I get one more, this channel is gone. So make sure you're subscribed to my backup channel. But yeah, I have been posting about this for a while. I've been talking about it for literally years, and now it's happening. And, you know, people kept saying, oh, you're always an alarmist. You know, you always say that, you know, we're going to go into a global recession and then nothing happens. It's like, guys, it's been happening. You think that we can just continue to print money and nothing, like, there's not going to be consequences? Come on, man. I'm trying to help people be prepared. And that's all I've been doing. I haven't been pushing alarmism. I've been trying to push preparedness because it's a smart thing to do. And I'm trying to help people. From Forbes, Economy, Senators Debbie Stabenow, quote, we have the, this is such a joke, we have the fastest job growth in history since President Biden took off. Oh, they're such liars. Watch as they lie to you to your face.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. We are in a bright, newly painted hallway talking about a brighter future. And Senator...
Wow. Well, look at you guys. You live completely divorced from reality that the rest of us are dealing with, as people are facing foreclosures, car repossessions, and having to stand in line at food banks because they can't even afford the gas to drive their car there. You get to be in a newly painted building because you're stealing other people's money. And just look at how absolutely gross all of these people are.
Senator Schumer said we are very optimistic and very excited about the things we've been doing and that we can continue to do together.
Unbelievable.
But I just want to take us back because it's been a historic 20 months.
No, it's been real bad. It's been historically bad. But watch them tell you, don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe reality. Believe in our alternative reality that we're going to try to sell you because, you know, midterms are coming up.
When President Biden took office and the new Democratic majorities came in, we weren't all standing here together. I mean, we were home Zooming. Our kids were not in school. Our businesses were just barely.
Oh, and whose fault was that? Oh my God. These people are literally mentally ill. The Real Tom says the German Minister of Economics, Robert Habeck, bakeries, craft businesses, cleaning companies, they can just stop producing this year. But they don't go insolvent. They don't work into the red. Oh yeah, just don't operate for an entire year, produce nothing, but your business will be fine. Yeah, just shut down the economy for a year and companies won't go broke. It's just that simple. The German Greens remain the world's most insane political party. Yes, without a
Aber
doubt.
rechnen Sie mit einer Insolvenzwelle am Ende dieses Winters?
Nein, das tue ich nicht. Ich kann mir vorstellen, dass bestimmte Branchen einfach erstmal aufhören zu produzieren. Nicht
Unbelievable. Oh, God. Federal acres leased for oil and gas production during the first 19 months are the lowest they've ever been under Biden. Of course. Of course. Josh Barnett running for Congress as a purposeful attack on the American economy, as it all is purposeful. Oh my God, just look at this. Just look at this nonsense. Michelle Obama introduces Jill Biden. The room gives her a standing ovation because people inside the Beltway don't live in reality.
Joe, honestly, everybody stood but Joe.
Yeah, the Obamas. This is their third term. We got more portraits of them today because apparently, the obsession never ends. And then to close out, just remember who these people are. I have nightmares about Tucker Carlson, says Jennifer Lawrence as she poses with her good pal Harvey Weinstein repeatedly. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. So we'll end it with that. I'm speechless. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, if they get better. And we have a lot of work to do.